Good day, ladies and gents. We're going to be talking about Unit 8, which is on 2D shapes, and Unit 9, which is 3D shapes. We're going to be doing worksheets 23 and 25. Nice. Well, let's do this. All right, so for Unit 8, okay, circumference of a circle is c equals d pi, and area of the circle is pi r squared, where, if I zoom in a little bit, so this, from the center to the edge, no matter which way it's looking around the clock, is r, and then all the way across is d for diameter. So if you need this, a couple things that you might want to know is d is equal to 2 times r, and also pi, more times than not, we're just going to agree that pi is equal to the number 3.14. All right, then area of a rectangle is BH, base times height, which can also be length times width. That's another way to say that. Triangle, so the triangle area is 1/2 base times height. Trapezoid is the average of the bases. So the bases are always parallel to each other. So sometimes it's going to be like this. You just need to turn your paper until the bases are horizontal to you and everything falls into place. So it's the average of bases, so add them together, divide by 2, and then multiply by the height. Another way to look at it is this, but I really prefer this way. This way makes a lot more sense because the average of the bases, that's base times height. Everything is basically base times height. A triangle is half base times height, though. All right, parallelogram, base times height, kite is the average. Well, not average. Average, not the. So multiply those together, divide by 2. Rhombus, base times height, or treat it like a kite. Arc length is percentage of the circumference, which is angle over 360 times d pi. Sector area is percentage of the area, so angle over 360 times pi r squared. If you're finding areas, sometimes you need to break it up into manageable shapes, then add them together. Or if you're taking out the white spots, you would find the black area and then find the white areas, so black minus all the white stuff. Population density, that's just population over area. So write out the full equation, plug in the spots, plug into the correct spots, and then solve. So remember, PD, population density, is units over units squared. Okay, and then I gave you some examples of how the triangles can look. It's whatever the solid part of the base is. So what are you actually standing on times the height? So this one right here, this is 4 and that's 3. All the way across is 7. So it's 1/2 7 times the height, which is 4. But on this one, we only want the solid part. So I get that this is 2 and 2, but I only want the solid part of my base. So that's 1/2 2 times, and the height is 3. So the door, so these are your feet, and then here's the door. It doesn't matter where the door is. I just want to know how tall does the door have to be for the height, but my base is always between my 2 feet. And then this one right here, before we start, you want always to have your 90-degree angle horizontal and vertical to you. So you want to turn this until it's horizontal and vertical. So you can turn it this way, or you could turn it this way. It doesn't matter. Just one of them's the base and the other one's the height, or vice versa. Or I could keep turning it until it looks like this. That's my base, that's my height. As long as the 90-degree angle is horizontal and vertical to you, you're okay. All right, half a circle is pi r squared divided by 2. And here are the basic gist. Write out the equation of the given, of whatever they gave to you, plug in your known stuff, solve, and then make sure you answer the question, because sometimes that's not what you're looking for. Yeah, you found X, but sometimes it's not what they wanted. All right, so, and then for 3D, okay, same idea. So same thing as what we were talking about before, d equals 2r. Perimeter of a circle is c equals d pi. Area of a circle is pi r squared. And then we have sphere, which is 4 pi r squared, and volume, which is 4 pi r cubed. And remember, the basic gist is, I can add this right here, the SAV. So these are sides, area, volume. Sides, it could also be perimeter. Area could be surface area. It could be lateral area. Volume, anytime we're basically talking about a liquid, right? And the basic gist is that sides are to the power 1, area is sides to the power 2, and volume is sides to the power 3, right? So if I said that my side was 5, then this would be 5 squared, which is 25. If this would be 5 cubed, which is 125. Right? So it's the same thing. So why did I just tell you that? Because when the squares right here, this is where, so surface area, right? Are squared. It's area, so that's to the power 2. Volume is in the third column, so that is to the power 3. And that's what a lot of people mess up on. And you can still remember that for prisms and pyramids. So when you get down to pyramid, you remember how it's for a triangle, it's 1/2 base times height, basically, right? Well, it's 1/2 base times height. Now, volume is 1/3, 1/3, because it's in the third column. That's just a way you can remember it. So that might help you out. Okay, and then remember, it's base area, not base, not just the base. It's base area times the height. So whatever shape the base is times the height of the shape. So for example, for a cylinder, volume is base area times the height. So what shape was the base? A circle. And what's the area of a circle? Pi r squared. So what you want to do is always replace the capital B and sometimes the capital P as well. So perimeter of the base would be d pi because that's the perimeter of a circle. And same thing with cone. Those are those things. If you're trying to figure out, are you doing lateral area, surface area, or volume, think about a soda can. So are we talking about the label of the soda can? So here's the soda, right? So the label would just be this part, right? The label on the outside, right? Now, or are we talking about the metal? So is that the label around, and the top and the bottom? That would be the metal, right? And then volume would be how filled up is it, all the liquid on the inside. Okay. All right. Oh, my favorite ones. Okay, so revolutions. So if you spin this around, what shape does it create? So if you spun this around, that would make a cone. If you spun this around, that's a sphere. If you spun this around, this is a cone and a cylinder. And then cross section. I love cross sections. If you cut this, what shape is in there? A triangle. If you cut this horizontally, that would make a circle. But if you cut it vertically, it would make a triangle. See, two different shapes. So basically what we're saying is if you cut this, dipped it in paint, and stamped your paper, what shape would it make? Same thing here. If you took this, if you cut it horizontally, that would make a rectangle. If I had cut this vertically, that would have made a circle. If this one I cut diagonally, that would make an oval. Okay, and then density is mass over volume. So density breaks my heart. So D equals, you have your heart, and then you break it. M over V. So you guys see that? So yeah. So density breaks your heart. All right, so that was just a nice, lovely recap. You want to have that next to you while we're busting these out. All right, let's go to page 23. All right, so page 23, zoom in a little bit here. Yeah. All right, find the area of the trapezoid. Now, if you see circles on these are important questions. Questions like these are going to be on the end of course exam for all I know. All right, so this right here, this is a trapezoid. So area of a trapezoid is you add up the bases, divide by 2. So the average of the bases times the height. So our bases are 16 and 26 divided by 2 times what was your height? That would be 14. All right, now this is a major thing that people get wrong. You want to add up the tops all by themselves first. So it's 42 over 2. Now divide by 2. You get 21 times 14. And you get 294. Okay, now a major thing that people do wrong. 16 plus 26 over 2 times 14. A lot of people type this in there. 16 plus 26 and divide by 2. This is incorrect. So I'll just focus on just this part. a lot of people do this and they get 29, which is wrong because you can't, you have to see it. They do this and that's wrong because what you really did was did 16 plus 29 divided by 2 equals 29, and you accidentally just did this. What you need to do is 16 plus 29 divided by 2. You want to do this all by itself first. So basically 16 plus 29, then divide by 2, which is 22.5. So you see the difference? And a good way to double check yourself is when you add these together, divide by 2, this number has to be smack dab in the middle of those two numbers. Is 29 between smack dab in the middle of 29 and 26? No, so you should have caught yourself. 22.5 is in the middle. So this is a major error that people make. So make sure you do the top all by itself. Wait a minute. 16 plus 29. Oh, sorry, 26. It's supposed to be 26. Sorry about that. Typo, and that would have been 21. Sorry about that. Okay, so and is 21 smack dab in between the two of them? Yes, they are. So this should have been like a big warning that something was wrong. Okay, so make sure that you're right smack dab in the middle just to catch yourself. All right, and that was our answer, 294. Okay, now number 2. All right, so now here's what we definitely need to know because this is something that happens to us. Okay, so in the diagram, we have a plane. It goes vertically. Okay, the height of the cone, so the height is 12. The diameter, so that's all the way across. The diameter is 9. What is the area of the cross-section? Well, first of all, what shape is the cross-section? If you cut that, that makes a triangle. And we want to find the area of that, right? We want to find the area. Area is 1/2 base times height. And the base all the way across, well, it's all the way across the circle, and all the way across the circle was 9. And the height was 12. So it's 1/2, 9 times 12. So 0.5, or 1/2, times 9 times 12, and we pop out with 54. And that's your answer, 54. That's all we wanted. And if necessary, use 3.14 pi. We didn't need it at all, which is lovely. All right, number 3. All right, so number 3, we have these points. All right, so we have -2, +5. So we have this. We have -2, -2. And we have 6, -2. All right, and then be nice if I had my ID next to me to make nice, pretty straight lines. All right, so we have this. So they want the total amount of fencing. And where's the fence? Is the fence talking about the area, which is all on the inside, or is the fence around the shape? It's around. So what we're looking for is the perimeter. So we want the distance around this. All right, so this one, from here to here, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hops. And then from here, that's 2 hops and 6 hops, that's 8. And then I want this right here, a diagonal. And a diagonal, we would have to do Pythagorean theorem. This is a 7 by 8. So 7 squared plus 8 squared equals x squared. And we get 113 equals x squared, which we can just square root. So this right here is the square root of 113. All right, to find the perimeter, all we have to do is add all that together. So 7 plus 8 plus the square root of 113. So I'm just going to do the square root first. So the square root of 113, which is a nice ugly number, right? So plus 7 plus 8, and I pop out with this number. So 25.63014581. All right, and they said to round to nearest hundredth. How many zeros does 100 have? It has 2. So the question is, are we staying at 63 or we're going up to 64? The number after it was a 0. That did not make it over the hill. So 25.63 is our final answer. Nice. All right. Okay, number 3. All right. Notice that number 3 does not have a circle on it, but it's still nice to know how to do it. You are cutting out patterns to create a banner for a birthday party. Each triangle is 13 inches in height. All right, so we have a triangle. So 13 inches in height, and the base is 7. What is the area of one triangle? Oh, that's really easy. Just one triangle. So it's 1/2 base times height. That's 1/2 7 times 13. You put that in the calculator. So 0.5 times 7 times 13. We pop out with 45.5. And that's it. 45.5 is your final answer. All right. Just trying to make that a little more sturdy for you. Okay, this one. Notice that it's a circle, so it's very important. Okay, a gravel walkway is being built around a fountain. The fountain will be circular base with a radius of 5.7, and the diagram of the fountain and the gravel walkway is shown below. Find the area of the gravel walkway. So basically, they're looking for this because we're going around the fountain. So we want to find this. Okay, if you're looking for your area, it would just be the big shape minus the little shapes, right? So it's basically this big area minus the little area. So for the big one, from the center to the edge, so the big one, center to all the way to the edge, would be 8. So your radius is 8, and our diameter would have been 16. And on the little one, our radius is 5.7, and our diameter, multiplied by 2, would have been 11.4. All right, just covering our bases. All right, so with that, area is pi r squared. So that's 3.14 times 8 squared. So so I would always do like the square first. That'd be the safer way. A squared, so 8 squared times 3.14. You pop out with 200.96. And notice I'm not rounding. Also notice that I use 3.14 because they said to. All right. Okay, over here, we're doing 5.7 squared. So pi r squared, that is 3.14, 5.7 squared. All right, 5.7 squared times 3.14. We put that in our calculator, get this big long decimal, 102.0186. Okay, now what are we supposed to do with those two? Subtract them. So subtract those two numbers. And make sure so I subtracted them, but I accidentally got a negative. That's because I just did the little one minus the big one. Just give me the positive version, you'll be fine. So when we subtract them, we got 98.9414. Okay, and did they say anything about rounding? Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Nearest tenth. All right, so are we staying at 98.9, or what's the next number? So look, so 89, the next thing would be 99. Sorry, so 89 would be 90, which is really just 99. All right, so the question is, are we staying at 89.9 or we're going to 99? That decision is made by the number after it, which is a 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We went to 4, we'd roll back, so 89.9 is our answer. Fantabulous. All right, let's go ahead and go to page 25. So we're jumping to page 25. We skipped 24. We're going to 25. Notice that this one has a circle on it. Very nice. Okay, so we have a soup company. And so here are the two shapes. Okay, so we want to know which one has a bigger volume, because that's the first question, right? So we want to know what has the bigger volume, so we want to find the volume of each one. All right, so in this one, radius and diameter. Radius and diameter. We know our heights were 8 and 6. That's nice. All right, so this right here, 6 is all the way across. That's the diameter of 6, so the radius would have to be 3. The diameter on this one is 4.5, and if you divide by 2, this would be 2.25. So think about it this way. That's $4.50. What's half of that? $2.25. Okay, so for A, we want to find the volume. Volume is base area times the height. What shape is the base? A circle. So base area would be pi r squared times the 3D height. So we just replace the B with this. That's what we just did. All right, so that is 3.14. Your R is 3. squared, and your height was 6. All right, so 3.14 times 3 squared times 6. Be careful, make sure, you might want to do the square first so you don't actually square the whole thing. It all just depends on your calculator. And we get 169.56. So that's our volume for that one. Okay, and then over here for B, volume is equal to base area times height. So that would be pi r squared times the height. So the capital B is replaced with pi r squared. All right, for B, that's 3.14 times r, which was 2.25, squared, and your height was 8. All right, so we have 3.14 times 2.25 squared times 8. We pop out with 127.17. All right, which one is bigger, 169 or 127? This one is the bigger one. So A is bigger. A is bigger. All right, how much greater? So how much greater, that means that we're going to subtract. So 169.56 minus 127.17, subtract those two numbers, and we pop out with 42.39. Uh-oh, but they said to do, so 42.39, but they said to the nearest cubic inch. So are we staying at 42 or are we going up to 43? We would stay at 42. So our answer is 42. Because tricky little buggers, they said basically to the nearest whole number. Okay, and then approximately how many times bigger? So times is about multiplication, right? So we want to know how many times one of them is equals the other one. So we're basically going to divide these numbers. So how many times bigger? So the bigger one's going to go on top. Smaller one's going to go on the bottom. So when you divide those two numbers, 169.56 divided by 127.17, we pop out with approximately 1.3333333333. And they said to nearest hundredths, how many zeros does 100 have? 2. So we're going 2 decimal places, so that's 1.33. Awesome. All right. Okay, number 2. Number 2 does not have a circle on it, but it's really good to know how to do this. All right. So Adrian bought an aquarium, and the measurements of the aquarium are shown below. So that's the aquarium. Now the water is currently at 12.75. So at this moment, no matter what, the base of the tank is not going to change. So it's still 35.25 by 46. But the height of the water is 12.75. We need to accommodate for all the minnows, he needs to fill up the water tank to 25.74. So we're still at 35.25 by 46, but our height needs to change to 25.74. All right, so we need to find each volume and subtract them. So basically, volume is base area times height. So base area times the height. The base is length times width times height. So length times width. That would change the base times the height. So all we do, length times width times height. So multiply those numbers. So 35.25 times 46 times 12.75. And you'd pop out with 20674.125. Okay, then same thing on the other one. So 35.25 times 46 times 25.74, and you pop out with 41737.41. All right, so those are the two volumes. So you could either do it this way by the picture version, or you could just say, okay, I have these dimensions. I need these dimensions, and what we're going to do, we're going to subtract those two numbers. So subtract those two numbers, give me the positive version, and you pop out with, positive version is 21063.285. And they said to the nearest cubic inch. So I need the nearest whole number. So am I staying at 21063 or am I going up to 64? Sorry, that's a 2. And that decision is made by the number after it, which is a 2. That did not make it over the hill. So 21063 is our final answer. All right, sweet. All right, let's keep going. All right, we're almost done. Okay, number 3. Yes. Okay, so number 3. A diagram of a water tower shown. What is the shape modeled by the water tank on the top? Find the approximate. So we just want the top. We don't want this sucker. We just want the top part, right? Just the top. So it's a sphere, right? So shaped water tank is a sphere. There you go. So that's a sphere. And we want the volume. Volume of the water is only in the tank. So radius and diameter. Now the diameter is all the way across. So that's 76. So if that's 76, then what is the diameter? Divide by 2, we get 38. Okay, so volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. That's where a big mistake happens, that cube. Make sure it's cubed. So 4/3 times 3.14 times 38 to the power of 3. All right, so basically we're multiplying 38 3 times. So just in case you're wondering, that is 38 times 38 times 38. Okay, so 38, and you see that little caret right there, to the power of 3. And we get that big number times 3.14 times 4 divided by 3. So I kind of typed it in backwards. That's one way to do this. I got that number. So 229,730.7733. Another way we could have done that was parentheses 4 divided by 3, then times 3.14 times parentheses 38 to the power of 3. We still get the same number. All right, so you just need to make sure you know how to use your calculator. So actually type it in your calculator, make sure you're getting this number, and just be aware of how your calculator is used. And they said to the nearest foot, so nearest whole number. So are we staying at 30 or are we going up to 31? The 7 made that decision for us. We're going to 31. So 229,731 is your final answer. Okay, and last problem. Okay, so this one, we are finding the volume. Okay, so we're finding the volume on this, and so a couple of things on this lovely idea. So volume is 1/3, because it's volume, of base area times the height. And what shape was the base? A rectangle, so that's length times width. See how we replace that? Times the height. So that's 1/3, 10 times 8 times 6. So put that in the calculator. So we got 1 divided by 3 equals, okay, times 10 times 8 times 6, and we get 160. Now, the thing that you need to be aware of is you might be finding something that's missing. So they totally could have done this. So here's an example that they could give you. If they said that the, for example, they said a pyramid has a base of 80 and a volume of 160. Find the height. So that's a question that they might ask. So what would you do? Well, we know volume is equal to 1/3 base area times the height. Well, you don't have to do length times width times height because we already know what the base was. So volume was 160, 1/3. The base area, so the base area was 80, and the height is what we're looking for. So all you have to do is solve. So 160. So 1 divided by 3 times 80, we get this big long decimal, 26.6666666666666. More decimals you put, the safer you'll be, times the height. All right, you would divide that on both sides. So 160 divided by 26.6, repeating, equals h. So 160 divided by 26.666666666, and you got the answer was 6. H equals 6, and that's the final answer. Just putting that out there. Hopefully that helped you guys out. Have a great and wonderful day.